Look at that. Now let's check these. Look at that. So good. I love these. I really think that this recipe is going to change, if not your life, then your carnivore diet for sure. It is pretty unique for what we usually make. It is simple and it takes maximum 15 minutes to make. You need to try this. Let's get right to the ingredients. So for this one, I'm using a couple of eggs. I'm going to use 2 eggs because I'll show you 2 different variations. One is going to be a test and one is kind of the standard. Then we also need some full cream milk powder. Now, this is the sole reason why I was kind of hesitant to try this recipe. I have seen multiple creators taking like a spin of this recipe, and it originally comes from the YouTube channel Beef Boss. I'll also link it in the description, but I could not find milk powder anywhere. And I was looking on Amazon, it was so expensive that I simply did not want to do this. But then a couple of days ago, I went to the store and I randomly saw this and it was only €6. So I thought, well, that's kind of doable. Next, we need, this is optional, of course, some cheese, some sausage. You can really do anything for the fillings. You can also do no fillings. Really up to you. I'm just having a bit of shredded mozzarella, some normal cheese, and as I said, sausage. And last but not least, you also do need baking powder. However, I am going to try one variation without baking powder so that you can see how it looks without. Before we start making this whole operation, I just want to take a step back and say that yes, the recipe is inspired by Beef Boss. Initially, first time I saw it was when Ketogenic Woman made it, and she was making buns. And then 2 days ago, I bought this milk powder and I started experimenting. And I thought, oh my God, filling them with something. My girlfriend said, like, you should put in cheese. I thought it's so genius. And then today, for a little bit of inspiration, I went and checked Beef Boss's video, and I see that he did also use some fillings. So I guess I'm not a genius. Well, it's not really a surprise. But yeah, I do need to make this video because I've been really making them multiple times a day just to experiment. And I'm soon going to run out of this milk powder. So the first option, or let's call it the OG, is going to be with baking powder. And I'm just using 1 egg for this. Of course, if you are using more eggs and making a bigger batch, just double the ingredients. So I crack the egg in. Whisk it around a little bit. Next, I'm adding, this is half of the baking powder, so that will be like 7 grams. So it's around 1 tablespoon. Add that in, lose a little bit. It's all part of the process, and just whisk more. Now, also, optionally, you might want to add some salt. It really depends on your likeness, and I guess on also what type of milk powder you get. The one that I bought, it is a bit sweet. I mean, dairy is a bit sweet in general. I don't want it to be sweet. All right. Now for the milk powder. Of course, I'm adding it in tablespoons, but just where are my tablespoons? But the proportion on 1 egg is going to be like 70-ish grams. I think it was 5 tablespoons. And you see I'm already half done with this. 5, like 5 and a bit. And I tried using a spatula for this, but it was sticking a lot. So I am going to stick to using a fork for this process. You just want to basically mix everything until it kind of turns into a dough. If you feel like it is too sticky, just add more milk powder. But I think this is fine. It's gonna be sticky anyway, so that's that. All right, that's number 1. Now for number 2, we are skipping the baking powder. And to be honest, I don't know what's going to happen, so you are in this experiment together with me. I mean, obviously, it's not going to raise because that's what baking powder does. And yeah, for the second batch, it's just the same 5 tablespoons. Yeah, I'm basically out. Mixing this one is a bit more challenging, but we are managing. Okay, now, as I said before, of course, for the fillings, you can really do what you want. You can cook a bit of bacon. You can add some mince. You can really do whatever you want. Okay, Now we are ready to form them up. In my opinion, very important step for you is that you wet your hand a bit. Otherwise, it's going to stick a lot. This morning, I made like one big one out of one egg. I think I might try to make two, so a bit smaller ones. We are taking dough, just flattening it out, and I'm filling it with some cheese. I'm filling this in my half of my kitchen with cheese and some sausage. More of this, more of this. Let's try to close it now. Yeah, just push it in a bit and twirl it around your hands. It's gonna be okay. It's kind of like a dumpling, right? So what I think I'm going to use these for is I will take them with me to work. So roll them around. Yeah, it's kind of like also let's say an incognito workday snack, right? Nobody will really ask you if you're one of the people who don't want to like people inquiring about, oh, what you're eating for lunch, when you bring out a little tray of ground beef, then nobody will ask you about this. And I'm also using it to kind of as as a little vacuum cleaner here for the cheese and maybe a couple of pieces of this sausage, just like that, and pushing them all in. Amazing. One done. I'll make another one just like that, and then we'll try the silly ones, the raw ones, baking powderless ones. Yeah, that. Yeah, so for the second one, I tried flattening it out on this wooden board right here, and you don't want to do that. It's just going to stick. I mean, maybe if you pour some of that milk powder out, maybe that might do the trick, but I don't know. Okay, this second one kind of crazy. Just like me, haha. And now the baking powderless ones. Yeah, this is very sticky. I think I'm going to try to just make one big one. Scoop up as much as I can. Make sure my hands are wet. No. Comment down below if you are watching the Olympics. I'm just very curious. We have it here running in the background the whole time. But I'm not a big sports guy. I don't know why, but but it's in the background. Okay, so I'm flattening them out. Oh yeah, and if you're watching Olympics, of course, what's your favorite sport and athlete? My favorite sport is, I don't know what's the actual English name. I mean, I know how it's written. I think it's called luge or lodge. Luge. Yeah, that one. And the reason is because I actually used to do that when I was younger. So that was cool. That's a fun fact about me. When people see me and when I tell them this fun fact, they usually don't believe me. And I also don't have a lot of proof. So yeah, I don't know what's happening here. It's very sticky, but it's happening quickly. Quick attack! Woo! Thank you, Mr. Vacuum Cleaner. Now we are ready to bake these beasts. I am putting this into my air fryer and I'm going to run it at 160 degrees Celsius for like 7 minutes one side, and I'll just a little bit flip them around and I'll do 6 minutes on the other side. If you are using an oven, I forgot the temperature and everything, so then I'm going to just put it in the description. But for the air fryer, these are the settings. Of course, I'm using the Typhoon Dome 2. Hello? Typhoon Dome 2. Link in the description. Use code MEATMEAT for a discount. I love this air fryer. And I know that also in some of the comments of my other videos, people say that it's so nice that my kitchen looks like a real person's kitchen, meaning that it's not spotless. Well, welcome to reality. This is my life. Okay, our first 7 minutes have passed, and look at these. Oh, the raw one actually looks very nice. So far, I don't see a reason why would you use baking powder. Let me flip these around, and then I'll run it for 6 more minutes. All right, our beasts are done. To be completely honest, I'm really... Yeah. To be completely honest, I'm really curious about this one, because by the looks of it, it is better. Better than the. I mean, it doesn't make. I clearly cannot talk anymore. It look good. That's what I want to say. Oh, please subscribe. I will let them cool down because they are clearly inflicting pain on my poor hands. And then we're gonna try them out. Exciting. Okay, so one thing that is, of course, different as I thought, it collapses, right? So I don't know if you can see, I guess you can. It has collapsed here in the middle. Well, that's kind of something that we expected. At least I expected to happen. But besides that, I mean, it's for our own consumption, right? So if you don't want to use baking powder, so far I think that it's working. Look at that. Okay, let's give it a try. Yeah, I really don't think that you need the baking powder at all. It's perfect. It really is perfect. I mean, there's nothing else I can say. Now let's check these. Look at that. Okay, of course, here we had a little bit more cheese. So good. I love these. You really have to try them out yourself so you can say. But like now that I tried and made this without the baking powder, right? And if I compare, of course I'm going to say that this is the winner. Yeah, okay, the looks, it collapsed a little bit, blah blah blah. Who cares? It tastes amazing, it still looks great, and it's strict carnivore, right? I mean, you don't need something that is not carnivore friendly, technically speaking. I'm gonna throw out my baking powder, right? So of course I'm gonna give the victory to this, but these are great. So now it's up to you to try them and let me know what you think. Really good. Yeah, now that I'm just sitting down and eating them, maybe it's worth mentioning that the texture here still feels pretty cloudy. It doesn't feel, it's not wet, it's kind of like dry, something like what you would expect from bread. And yeah, I really do not see a reason besides this one little visual side why would you need to use baking powder. So yeah, that's that. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Like, comment again, and comment one more time. And I'll meet you here next time on Meat Carnivore. Make sure to also check out another video of mine or maybe take a look at the playlist. Ciao!